Hello, everybody. Hello, everybody. Of course, going to wait a few minutes to give people a chance to show up here. I hope everybody's doing well tonight. Unbeatable Pokemon Advanced Battle. Oh, undefeatable. Superhero Static Shocker. Superhero Static Shocker. Criminals getting twisted. It's superhero listed. Back in school, nobody knows what I do. Superhero Static Shocker. Superhero Static Shocker. They're dashing, they're daring, courageous and caring, faithful and friendly with stories to share. All through the forest they sing out in chorus, marching along as their song fills the air. Gummy bears bouncing here and there, everywhere. Find adventure that's beyond compare. They are the gummy bears. They are the gummy bears. Come along with the snorks. Swim along with the snorks. So much to see waiting for you and me. Have some fun with the snorks. If you could breathe underwater, where would you go? If you had friends underwater, who would you know? Come along and sing along too. Yeah, come along with the snorks. Swim along with the snorks. So much to see waiting for you and me. Have some fun with the come along with the have some fun with the snorks. Hello, we have a second person. Hello. If you can like and share the stream, so we get some more friendly people in here, that'd be appreciated. Hopefully you're doing well. Hopefully you're having a good day. We're just, as I said, just waiting around for people to show up, give people a chance to um, get in here. Let's see. Yeah. So, anyways, just wait a little while longer to give a chance to. And of course, while we wait, I guess I'll continue with some song. Life is like a hurricane here in Duckburg. Race cars, lasers, aeroplanes. It's a duck blur. Might solve a mystery or rewrite history. DuckTales, woo, there and when I've been making DuckTales, woo. You've been there and I've been waiting, DuckTales. And it's a stranger out to find you. Gonna go on to DuckTales, woo. There is there and I can wait, DuckTales, woo. You've been waiting, I've been waiting, DuckTales, ooh. The stranger's out to find you. Grab onto some DuckTales, ooh. When you know that I've been waiting, DuckTales, ooh. And the stranger out to find you. When you go on to DuckTales, ooh. Sometimes some crimes go slipping through the cracks, but these two gumshoes are picking up the slack. There's no case too big, case too. Hey, Chad, I saw that you subscribed. Thank you for subscribing earlier. I'm just giving people a chance to get in here. Thank you for the like and the share. Hopefully your day is going well. Anyways, if you're here and you're active a bit, guess we can kind of start getting going here on the content. So tonight, of course, is Thursday night, so it's niche news night. I was from Rick's stream. Oh, okay, all right. Well, it's good to know where you're from. Yeah. So, anyways, so tonight the article probably going through like 10 articles among the stuff we'll talk about, and start out with some anime news, and then get into the comics news a little bit. Let's see. Some of the news articles we'll be looking into feature some of the animes, including "I'm in Love with the Villainess," "Obey Me," Yumi's Cells, which actually a manhwa series from Korea, Maiden Abyss, some isekai anime news, One Piece, My Hero Academia. Also, on the comic side of it, we got kind of a joint venture from Colin Kaepernick and Scholastic on a book that's coming out. We got a couple of Marvel Comics articles. We got and we got an article covering from Critical Blast about the Lucent, a book coming out, among other things. So with that, why don't we go ahead and get ourselves started here? Now that I've gone through all that, why don't we go? I guess we can go ahead and get started here, since I got one other attentive individual here. And of course, don't forget the end of the night, of course, is our historical retrospective. And if anything catches your attention that you want to comment on or ask about, feel free to comment in question. If I can answer the question, I'll do my best to do so. All right, so with all that being said here, let's go ahead and get started on this. So, first article we're going to get into is this one. I'm in Love with the Villainess, light novel, deserves an anime. Here's why. So, a little profile piece on this one. This is a light novel right here. I'm in Love with a Villainess. Doesn't have an anime adaptation yet, but I guess there's somebody making an argument why it deserves an anime. So let's look at their reasoning here. I'm in Love with the Villainess is a light novel series whose unique take on isekai quickly garnered it a manga adaptation. But where is the anime? Now, isekai, the isekai genre is the type of genre in anime and manga where the main character is usually transported to another world, like a fantasy world. Which is article by Nikki Rodriguez, published 14 hours ago. There you go, right there. So here we go. As more and more isekai anime continue to appear, especially video game isekai, it might seem difficult for a series to stand out. Luckily, I'm in Love with the Villainess doesn't have to worry about that. Originally a light novel series, I'm in Love with the Villainess spices up the standard isekai formula with how it subverts the often heteronormative goal of an otome or dating sim game. Now, otome actually, I think more literally in Japanese translates as maiden, lady or maiden. So just keep that in mind when you hear that word. Even though it's also used in this case as an alternate term for like dating sim game. To give fans a unique Yuri rom-com instead. The term Yuri is basically girl-on-girl action, is what they're talking about there. Just so you know. While the series quickly garnered a manga adaptation, it's yet to receive the anime treatment. Along with its quirky premise, here are a few more reasons I'm in Love with the Villainess deserves to have a place on screen in the near future. Let's look at this person's. Yeah. I'm in Love with the Villainess follows Ohashi Ray, an office worker who meets an untimely death from being overworked. So basically, it sounds like they quite literally worked her to death. What I guess they're saying there. Ah, I didn't know that. Yeah, well, Chad, you stick around long enough, you'll find out a lot of things from on my streams that you didn't know. So let's see. So, anyways, all right, continuing on with the article here. She then finds herself reincarnated into Ray Taylor, the protagonist of her favorite otome game. Instead of pursuing the goal of romance with either of the game's three princes, though, Ray decides to romance the villainess, Claire Francois. Knowing how the game plays out, Ray spends her time trying to win Claire over and make sure she gets a happy ending before the end events of the game take place. The way the series handles LGBTQIA plus topics is refreshingly nuanced and without diminishing the inherent comedy in the twist of the premise. And yeah, and I think it's something that people can probably enjoy as long as they don't like, as long as it doesn't seem like they're trying to push an agenda. Anyway, the queerness of the characters is never solely the butt of the joke and is addressed in story as they grapple with understanding and accepting their feelings. One of the key plot points of the game revolves around gender, and while gender bender tropes can sometimes be reductive in how they rely on binary views. I'm in Love with the Villainess doesn't shy away from addressing gender dysphoria and trans identity. The discussions apply both to characters from Ray's previous life outside the game as well as those in game. Another aspect that makes this a standout series is that despite the action and adventure built into isekai, the Yuri plot is the story's main driving factor. While Ray's homosexuality is sometimes played to comedic effect in a way that falls into the stereotypical at the start of the series, the story resolves that through character development and um, firmly cementing Ray and Claire's growing relationship as genuine. The series also openly critiques the treatment of queer people and addresses the negative stereotypes often attributed to queer characters across media, specifically in the context of Japanese society. Now, granted, it does seem like they might be pushing the agenda a little bit here, but it doesn't seem like they're pushing it super hard, at least based on what I'm reading here. No, I don't think they don't seem to be going out of their way to shame you if you have a different point of view on the matter or trying to bully you into um, accepting their viewpoint. That's just my take on it. Anyways, While the way I'm in love with the villainess handles queerness is certainly enough for it to join the ranks of anime that expand positive and nuanced representation of queer identity. Its political intrigue is just as much of a draw. Ray's determination to live out a life of her own liking is just as important as trying to work against the inevitable endings available in the game to afford Claire an ending Ray believes she deserves. The threat of political upheaval, the cunning of the elite as they work behind the scenes, and the well developed cast of characters make the series an interesting read and a strong candidate for anime fans who want to be left on the edge of their seat. Yeah, I can see why maybe this isn't being pushed as an anime as of yet, just because I don't know. Okay, Japanese at times the Japanese culture at times tends to be even more conservative than American culture, and I just don't know this. Even though you do have quite a few people in Japan who are more open to the idea of accepting queer identity and LGBTQIA plus individuals. It's still not something that is still. It's like not one of those things that's still considered a positive thing for it to be super out in the open. Were it to receive an anime, I'm in love with the villainess would help diversify and expand what Yuri anime are available to fans, while offering an exciting option in the ever-growing isekai genre. Light novels and manga have earned a place in fans' hearts for their candid and nuanced discussion of LGBTQIA plus experience. Greenlighting an anime adaptation would expand across to a source of welcome representation for anime fans, also giving fans across genres a new series to enjoy. Maybe. Anyways, ready to move on to the next um, good vibes. uh, yeah. All right, well, anyways, getting ready to move on to the next article here. Gotta feel the sun kiss vibration has no limit. All right, so here's the next one here. How Obey Me sets itself apart from other otome game-based anime. And of course, I explained in the last one what an otome, both the literal translation of otome and what they mean by otome game here. The anime community has seen plenty of flops in otome game based stories, but Obey Me has not fallen into that pit. Here's why it succeeds. Article by Jesse Zhu, um, published 13 hours ago. The anime adaptation of Obey Me is based on the mobile otome game Obey Me. One Master to Rule Them All, developed by Now Production and published by NTT Solmare on iOS and Android. Otome games are story based video games targeted at women, usually involving the female player character interacting with multiple potential male leads in a storyline with the goal of developing a romantic relationship with one of them. In this game, the player is chosen to become an exchange student at RAD, a school of demons. Okay. Throughout the main storyline, the player is able to interact with 7 demon brothers, each representing one of the 7 deadly sins. pride, greed, wrath, envy, lust, gluttony, and sloth, featuring a card battle system as well as phone and text messaging functions and in-game. Players are spoiled for choice in how they want to play the game. Why anime's usual way of adapting Otome games is flawed. Studios tend to adapt Otome games. Now these I think one of the other translations for Otome games could also be reverse harem. Because um, you have the idea of one of a single female character surrounded by yeah, surrounded by a bunch of guys, whereas in a harem anime it's a girl, it's the guy surrounded by a bunch of girls. Dating anime aren't my thing. Well, yeah, this will be the last one of those, Chad. So just hold on. We'll get into some stuff, but um, anyway, studios tend to adapt Otome games into anime in the same way, identifying the narrative's main plot points, and stringing them together into a televised series. This example can be seen in Mr. Love, Queen's Choice, an adaptation that was pretty hyped up due to the popularity of the original game's mysterious, well-rounded storyline. With a strong background like this, taking the usual approach of tying the main plot points together shouldn't have been a problem. Unfortunately, the anime still flopped. The usual approach to adapting Otome games may work in conveying the original plot points, but in reality, it doesn't do enough to form a cohesive story. It takes away the very features of Otome games that the players who are drawn to the anime look for. Arguably, the most attractive aspect of Otome games is the ability to interact personally with the characters. Yeah, that's probably true. I've al- when you're watching a television program, it's not as easy to be interactive with it as if you were playing the game. So that does kind of make a certain amount of sense there. Be right. Let's see. Oh, I don't mind you reading the articles. I just don't play a lot of the newer games these days. Be right back. Okay. Good to see a third person in here. Welcome, third person. As always, if you have any questions or you want to make any comments, feel free to do so. If I can answer the questions, I'll do my best to do so. That feature is basically stripped away in an anime where there is a set protagonist, so the amount of control players can exert over their interactions with the male lead is minimal. Additionally, new viewers of the anime can sense the discord and gaps throughout the episodes because inevitably producing a story based purely on the main plot points doesn't work to form a complete narrative, which is true. And I'm pretty sure that's a good point they made right there. Why? What sets Obey Me apart from a Tome game based anime? Unlike many of its peers, Obey Me doesn't attempt to adapt the main storyline into an anime. Instead, it approaches this in a way that mimics the original gameplay as much as possible in an anime format. That's pretty interesting. It does this through prioritizing the amount of perceived control the viewer has over the character's interactions. The shorter run time of 5 minutes per episode makes each one feel more like an animated cutscene. Most importantly, the story isn't told through the eyes of a set protagonist. It feels more like the viewer is witnessing the everyday interactions of the seven demon brothers in first person perspective. This not only allows the viewer to build a more personal connection with the characters like they would in the game, it also makes for um, a more lighthearted watch. If future anime based on Otome games could utilize the same approach, it would likely be able to create more successful adaptations like Obey Me. All right, so that's made some pretty good points there in regards to that. Anyways, getting ready to move on to the next article. Yeah. Alrighty then. Getting ready to move on to the next article here. All right. Yumi Cell's live action manhwa adaptation streams for free on Free Comic Book Day. Streaming service Rakuten Viki celebrates Free Comic Book Day by offering free access to Yumi Cells, a hit K drama based on a popular manhwa. So manhwa here is a Korean comic, basically manhwa, like manga. Manga is a Japanese comic. Manhwa is a Korean comic. The article I see in Ramsburg published 11 hours ago. And of course, this particular manhwa is based on a K drama, which is a live action series, obviously. This one looks like it's got live action intermixed with maybe some CG aspects of it. Yumi Cells. I wonder if this is kind of their take on the whole Osmosis Jones bit from back like in the 2000s. Rakuten Viki announced that it will celebrate Free Comic Book Day by offering Yumi Cells, a live action K drama based on the hit webtoon, for free. The live action adaptation of the manhwa will be lifted above the paywall for only 2 days, giving fans will have a limited time opportunity to bring the hit Korean romantic comedy or to binge the hit Korean romantic comedy for free from May 7th and 8th. So that's this week, this Saturday and Sunday, basically. Rakuten Viki has also rolled out a quote unquote based on comics collection in celebration of Free Comic Book Day, which will make it easier for fans to find and watch dramas adapted from manhwa, manga, and other comic sources. In addition to Yumi Cells, many other hit webtoon series have K-drama adaptations that can be streamed on the service, including True Beauty, which we kind of saw an article on yesterday for. And so I married the Ant fan. All right. Or anti fan. All right. First airing on the streaming platform on September 17th, 2021, Yumi Cells is a rom-com or romantic comedy starring Kim Go-eun as a series protagonist named Kim Yu-mi. Yu-mi is an average woman working in the workforce until she experiences a painful breakup that changes her life forever. After suffering from heartbreak, Yumi's love cells become dormant and prevent her from experiencing love. Wow, that's that kind of love cells, huh? Sounds very interesting. The story is told from the point of view of the many brain cells in Yumi's head, controlling her every thought, feeling, and action. Ah, so this is Korea's version of Herman's Head. For those of you who may not remember, back in the early '90s, Fox had a comedy called Herman's Head. Some of the comedians who provide the voices for The Simpsons were part of this. You had the one character who's Herman, and you'd see inside his head, and you'd see the different characters of would represent different aspects of his thought process, his personality, and all that. So, anyway, so that sounds. Let's see. Yumi soon falls into a mundane routine, simply goes through the motions of daily life until she eventually meets Gu Wong, a man who struggles with expressing himself, who is played by actor An Bo Hyun. Gu Wong also struggles with emotions and finds it difficult to express himself. The series originally began as a manhwa by artist and writer Dong-gun Lee, which was published by Webtoon Online from 2015 to 2020. In addition to the live action drama, the series has also been adapted into a series of mobile games. An animated series based on the manhwa is also currently in development and is planned to premiere sometime in 2022. The latter part of 2022 at the rate things are going. Let's see. Anyways, as we kind of continue on here, one of the largest streaming services focused on Asian content, Rakuten Viki, boasts access to over 1,300 titles, a large variety of which are live action dramas and movies that are based on popular webcomics. The platform offers limited, ad supported access to its platform for free. But viewers can sign up for premium subscriptions in order to access the service's full library without ads and higher quality videos. That was the other, yeah, true. We saw that yesterday. All right, so let's see where we're at now on time. 4 minutes 54. All right, so here's going to be the next article we will look at here. Maiden Abyss trailer features season 2's return of Rico's adventuring party. Maiden Abyss's latest trailer previews the mysterious new areas Rico, Reg, and Anachi will explore in the series' long-awaited second season. So I know that they just concluded the dub of the. They just concluded showing the dub of the first season. Like I think it was this past Saturday or the week before. Um, so about 2 weeks ago, I think. Article by Michael Lacerna published 11 hours ago. Oh, there you go, right there. Maiden Abyss released a new trailer for its highly anticipated second season. While the first trailer for the new season, which will be entitled Maiden Abyss, the Golden City of the Scorching Sun, served as an introduction to the many new characters that will be joining the Fantasy Adventures cast, the latest trailer offers an update on the progress of series' original band of dungeon crawlers, Rico, Reg, and Nanachi. The trailer previews some of the mysterious new areas of the abyss that the group will explore in the season. The trailer also previews a new storyline focused on Faputa, the quote unquote princess of the Hollows. The new season is still scheduled with a premiere window of this July. So the Japanese version of it will be this July. So the English version we don't know as of yet, apparently. The new trailer was released alongside the announcement that 4 new cast members will be joining the show. Hiroko Goto of Log Horizon fame, Kana Ichinose, Darling in the Franxx, Kumiko Saito, Death Note, and Ryota Takuchi, Haikyuu. The entire voice cast from the first season, including Miyu Tomita as Riko. These are obviously the Japanese voices, by the way, and Mariah Issei as Reg, will also return to reprise their roles. The second season of the anime is once again being produced by Kinema Citrus, the animation studio that is also behind The Rising of the Shield Hero and review Starlight. Maiden Abyss tells the story of Riko, a young girl who lives in a town built around the entrance to the abyss, a massive hole in the ground that is filled with ruins left behind by a highly advanced and mysterious ancient civilization. Riko's mother, Liza, was a famed adventurer who was presumed to be dead after she disappeared one day within the abyss's dangerous depths. Raised as an orphan, Riko sets off into the abyss herself after she discovers a message from her long missing parent, which states that she is waiting for Riko on the deepest level of the chasm. The first season The first season of Made in Abyss, which originally aired in 2017, was recently broadcast in the United States on cable TV as part of Toonami's newly refreshed late night anime lineup. The second season will serve as a direct sequel to the anime's third movie, Made in Abyss: Dawn of the Deep Soul, which was released in theaters in 2020. First season of the anime is available on High Dive. The original manga series by Akihito Tsukushi is also available in English from Seven Seas Entertainment. There we go with that one. All right. I'm back. Goodbye. Well, thank you there, Chad. Hopefully you're enjoying the content thus far. Gotta feel those sun-kissed vibration has such liberties. Gotta feel those sun-kissed vibration has such liberty. God. All right, give me a sec here. I gotta do this. All right. So I gotta do that because sometimes I get a signal icon that tells me that the connection may be off a bit. So I've got to do that to kind of refresh it. All right, so getting ready to move on to the next article then. We've already hit 4 of the 7 anime articles we're going to. All right, here's the next one here. Going to do the best isekai anime with female leads. The isekai genre continues to produce multiple titles each season. As I explained earlier, isekai genre is a genre where the main character is transported to another world. It's kind of a fantasy-based type genre where like a character is transported to another world. So, here are a few isekai anime with female leads that have risen above the rest. Article by Christian Markle, published 10 hours ago. Here we go, right here. The isekai genre of anime is focused on sending denizens of Earth to another world, mostly fantastical and or medieval in nature, since the victims, or perhaps quote unquote in smaller quotes, chosens is more appropriate, who are granted sudden magical power, are mostly male. They wildly unleash their newfound might, wasting monsters and building harems. Even those who try to live a normal life often find themselves in the face of quirky, fantastical adventure, like Rimuru Tempest from The Time I Got Reincarnated as a Slime, or they are faced with peculiar problems, like in By the Grace of the Gods. Uh-huh. Although the genre is brimming with male main characters, that doesn't mean there are no good isekai anime with female protagonists. Similar to their male counterparts, female leads also have grand adventures with a fun and colorful cast. Here are the best of these titles. Spirited Away is an eternal classic telling a tale of a young girl. Yes, this is a movie. This is a classic anime movie from Studio Ghibli that I think came out back in 2001. When 10-year-old Chihiro Ogino and her parents were on their way to their new home, they discovered an abandoned amusement park. Her parents decided to take a short stop and venture into the place, much to the young girl's chagrin. They found an unmanned food stall and started digging in while young Chihiro explored the place with her eyes. She then discovered strange things happening. Ghostly apparitions appeared, and her parents began turning into pigs. She, wow, doesn't that sound like a little familiar? Like maybe walked right into a trap from the Greek witch Circe. You know, Circe was known for turning men into pigs. Thanks for explaining what these items are. These terms are good vibes. I haven't seen Spirited Away in years. TCM did a special on it. Yeah, well, I mean, Spirited Away is considered a classic. So I've seen it before too. So, let's see. Chihiro must gather her courage to venture into this world and save herself and her parents from imminent peril. Spirited Away is a well known classic film that has stood the test of time. Even though it's not an anime series, viewers looking for isekai stories with a female lead can't skip this title. It has won multiple awards and is well acclaimed by viewers and critics alike. And unlike modern isekai titles, um, Spirited Away shows how dreadful traversing to another world actually is. Yeah, there is kind of a horror element in there. It does make it a little more unique. So I'm a Spider, So What has a monstrous female lead. Right, let's take a look at this one. When an unknown force kills an entire classroom of students, they're all sent to a fantasy world. Most of them receive likable identities, like being a noble or even of royal bloodline. One girl, however, is reborn into the body of a monster spider. Okay, probably more of a nightmarish thought than anything else. To make matters worse, she's found herself in a dungeon where almost every creature is strong enough to kill her. She must strengthen herself, level up, and evolve in order to survive and hopefully reach the surface one day. So I'm a Spider, So What has a lot of similarities with most isekai anime in the market today. It features a transmigrated lead, though the body she received is that of a monster instead of a human. Although she technically possesses an overpowered evolution system and skill acquisition, her life is nowhere near easy. She must struggle day in and day out just to survive. However, her stubbornness and humor make her struggles entertaining to watch. Spider Girl. Yeah, you could argue that. Spider Girl. You could argue. The pure evil of the saga of Tanya the Evil. Now, from what I understand, I haven't seen this anime yet. I probably will at some point. But as I understand it, this particular anime has some allusions to World War II fare. So, heads up on that. Despite being a disbeliever of any supernatural phenomenon, an atheist businessman suddenly finds himself face to face with a higher being on his day of death. But instead of finding faith, he refuses to acknowledge said existence and refers to it as being X. Instead, his actions and words infuriated being X, but it still did not give up on converting him. He is then sent to a war torn world as a young girl. Still, the newly incarnated Tanya refuses to budge, and aims to join the military to get away from all the bloodshed. The saga of Tanya the Evil features an anti-hero who wants to eliminate the being who sent her into a new world. The titular main character has questionable morals and is willing to do everything in her power to secure a comfortable lifestyle. She is then willing to sacrifice innocent lives if it means furthering her goals. Nevertheless, her arguably evil character is a refreshing change for the isekai genre, as I believe most isekai um, protagonists are usually heroes. It's all about books for mine is it's all about books for mine in Ascendance of a Bookworm. Yeah, in recent years, some of these isekai anime have these lengthy titles, and that kind of makes them interesting too. You get a full-on sentence for a title. Ah, yeah. Anyways, after an unfortunate accident in her workplace, a book-loving student is reborn into the body of a young commoner girl. She had a weak physique, but it wasn't an issue to her as long as she could read books. Problem is, only nobles can access books in her new world. Despite her physical and societal limitations, mine is determined to realize her dream of living in a book paradise. She won't let anything stop her from achieving that goal, even if it means creating the books herself. Unlike the action packed experience most isekai titles offer, Ascendance of a Bookworm focuses on the struggles of breaking societal pressures. Mine may possess a power stronger than common folk, but she remains limited by her commoner status. To make matters worse, she is also often treated as a child, which leads to many more problems. And I'm sure quite comedic ones too. I'm sure there's quite a few comedic things in there too, in that. Mine has to keep her mind churning for ideas while fostering her relationships and connections. This way, she has a greater chance of safely moving toward her goal. My next life as a villainess keeps wanting to kill Katarina. Uh, An otaku was reincarnated into the body of the villainess in her favorite Otome game. And of course, we talked about what Otome games were, and what the word Otome means. Um, though having the chance to live in the world of one's favorite game may seem like a dream come true, it's a total nightmare for Katarina. She knows all the game's routes lead to the villain's exile or death. However, Katarina refused to give up and resolved to avoid every death flag that came her way, while also ensuring the manifestation of her own happy ending. Interesting. This kind of sounds a little similar to one of the stories we were reading earlier, too. Despite supposedly being a villainess, my next life as a villainess is Katarina Class, um, does not hold a candle to Tanya of the saga of Tanya the Evil. Katarina has an overly optimistic and oblivious mindset to the point of being dubbed as Bakarina. Now, what that just simply means, so the Bak in Japanese, the term baka, B-A-K-A, translates to English as idiot or fool. So if a Japanese person calls you a baka, they're basically calling you an idiot or a fool. She doesn't mind doing physical labor and going through drastic measures if it helps ensure her safety and happiness. Her struggles to avoid making the other characters fall for her are entertaining to watch. Unlike other isekai protagonists, Katarina goes about her mission by being kind and helpful. So she's a villainess. I get that. She's a villainess, but she's kind and helpful. Wow. That's a very interesting twist there. Oh, here we go. Here's the next article I do here. Massive One Piece mural appears in Paris. A gigantic One Piece mural depicting the epic raid on Onigashima is erected in Paris Gare Montparnasse Railway Terminal. Article by Michael Cerna, published 9 hours ago. Wow. Yeah, check that. Check that one out. Uh, Try saying that 3 times fast, folks. French One Piece fans can now enjoy a massive mural of all of their favorite characters. The new mural was put up to celebrate re I think it's supposed to be the release of One Piece's 101st collected volume in the region. The imposing piece of artwork presents many of the characters from the raid on Onigashima, including fan favorites such as Trafalgar D, Waterlaw, Kaido's rebellious offspring Yamato, and of course, series protagonist Monkey D. Luffy. In a larger than life scale, the mural is now available for viewing at the Paris Gare Montparnasse. Again, try saying that one 3 times fast. Which is one of the 6 major railway terminals in the city. Images of the mural were shared online by French manga and anime news outlet Team Manga. Let's see. One Piece is a large series. I think over 400 books and TV episodes to watch. That's too much for me. Well, I think overall, One Piece actually has 1,000 episodes total produced. Granted, I think it's still around 750, 760 that are actually dubbed, but overall, One Piece has 1,000 television episodes produced, with like 750 or 750 to 760 dubbed. Okay, and then in terms of the manga volumes, there's like 1,000 manga chapters. So, wow, yep, yep. I said you'll learn something. You stick around long enough, my friend. Okay. Anyways, as we continue on here, the battle at Onigashima is one of the major events of the Wano Country arc, which sees the Straw Hat Pirates forming an alliance with several other major pirate crews to take down the tyrannical Kaido and his beast pirates. The eventful and long running arc began in chapter 909, like as I said, 1,000 chapters as well, which was published in 2018 and is still ongoing. The anime adaptation of the arc began in 2019 and has continued through the series' most recent critically acclaimed episode, which explained the backstory of Yamato and her history with Ace. Ace being Ace, who I believe ate a flame fruit, is a brother of Luffy, Monkey D. Luffy. One Piece is incredibly popular in France. In 2021 alone, the long-running pirate epic managed to sell a whopping 5.6 million copies in the region. Last year, series creator Eiichiro Oda gifted the recently re-elected French president Emmanuel Macron a special illustration of Luffy and the other Straw Hat Pirates, and thanked his French fans for making the series such a success. Macron responded by tweeting out a message of thanks to Oda in both French and Japanese. Mm-hmm. One Piece was created by Eiichiro Oda and first set sail in the pages of Weekly Shonen Jump in 1998. In the almost quarter century since its debut, The Adventures of the Straw Pirates have become the best-selling manga series of all time by a wide margin, approximately 500 million copies in circulation around the world. The entire anime series is available for streaming on Crunchyroll, with select seasons, and several of the franchise's animated features are available for streaming on Netflix. In addition to the ongoing manga, fans of the series can also look forward to upcoming release of the series' 15th movie. So yeah, 1,000 chapters, 1,000 episodes, and 15 movies. One Piece film Red, which will premiere in Japan this August, a live-action adaptation currently being filmed in Cape Town, South Africa, and is being produced by Netflix and Tomorrow Pictures, the studio behind the short-lived Cowboy Bebop reboot. Yeah, so a lot of people are expecting that One Piece live-action adaptation to bomb as well, especially if they're going to push agendas. Very likely to bomb. Nobody's going to want to watch it. Oda is serving as the producer on both projects. Alrighty then. So there we go with that one. I don't think Dragon Ball even has 15 movies. I'm not completely sure either, but I think they're pretty close. Dragon Ball does have a lot of movies though. Waiting for Resident Evil Netflix series. Series disaster. right, so as we get ready to move on, let's see. Just got to check how many. Yeah, we got one more. This will be the last anime article we'll be reading from. So then get into the comic articles, and of course have I think we have something like 3, maybe 4 of them. The very last one we'll be going over to Critical Blast. But anyways, here's the last anime article we'll be reading to tonight. My Hero Academia announces 2 new animated specials. Anime studio Bones announces that in addition to the 6th season, it is also producing 2 new My Hero Academia specials. Article by Michael Cerna, published 8 hours ago. My Hero Academia announced 2 all-new, I think, animated specials, or anime specials. As reported by Japanese news blog Ryokutia 2089, 2 new My Hero Academia original video animation OVAs episodes have been announced. While announced as primarily home video releases, the 2 new specials will also be released in Japanese theaters, with the first special premiering this summer. The first special will be baseball themed, while details about the second entry, including the release date, have yet to be announced. Both specials will be produced by Bones, the animation studio behind the ongoing My Hero Academia TV series. An international release for both specials has yet to be confirmed. The series' official Twitter account previously released art of the students of Class 1A playing baseball. The art was originally announced as part of an April Fool's gag, but now it appears it may have been a slick preview of what the animators were planning for the new animated special. The original image split the series' heroes up into 4 teams, based around the series' pro hero talent agencies: the Orcas, a team led by Gang Orca; the Shishido agency Lionels; Mount Ladies Mountains; and the Fat Gum agency Fats. Okay. Several members of Class 1A, including Kyoka Jiro and Denki Kaminari, were shown playing in the new league. And there have been a few cartoons and animes that have done this in terms of switching things up from a more of a traditional action adventure genre to something of a more sporty or look at the Mask era. Look at Mask back in '86, right? The about the Matt Track and all that. They turned that into a racing car series. Anyways, in addition to the new specials, Bones is also working on the highly anticipated 6th season of the anime. The new season will focus on the adaptation of the Paranormal Liberation War arc, which sees Japan's pro heroes engaging in all-out war with the country's supervillains, who have been united under the leadership of the nihilistic Tomura Shigaraki. Much of the promotional material released so far for the 6th season has been focused on the scale of the upcoming battle and the long-awaited next showdown between series protagonists Izuku, Deku, Midoriya, and Shigaraki, who received a substantial power boost near the end of the previous season. The 6th season of the anime will premiere next fall, but attendees at this year's Hero Fest convention will be treated to a special screening of its first episode months before anyone else gets it. My Hero Academia was created by Kohei Horikoshi and um, first introduced weekly sh- and weekly show first introduced Weekly Shonen Jump readers to its world of professional superheroes in 2014. The manga has become one of Shonen Jump's most popular, currently running series with 65 million copies in circulation worldwide. The series is currently publishing its final arc. It's planned to end sometime in 2022. The first 5 seasons of My Hero Academia are available for streaming on Crunchyroll, while the original manga is published in English by Viz Media. Well, there you go with that one. That was the last of the anime articles, as I said, so we'll probably be getting into the comics articles here pretty quick. All right, so here we go. Here's the next one. Hey, Bat Goat. What's up, bro daddies? All right. Anyway, I do thank you for the. So, anyways, I'm gonna step away from the computer for a moment. Just got to take care of a couple things real quick. I'll be right back. Once I get back, we'll get into the next article here. While I'm gone, of course. Hey, Bat Goat. Good stuff. Right. Hey, Chad. So, anyways, I'm gonna leave you with some music for the moment. I go take care of a couple things real quick. I'll be right back. I see there's some new comments here. Here. Not Chloe this time. We're running around Working at the news. Not this time back, though. Actually, my sister's home, so Chloe's quiet. But had some other business to take care of, though. Anyways, get to the article here. Now we're into got three from CDR that we're going to read through, and then got one from Critical Blast. So we're going to read one of RJ's articles as well. After. All right, so here's the first pro hockey player Akeem Ailu. Um, Ailu's graphic novel memoir announced from Colin Kaepernick and Scholastic. So apparently, Colin Kaepernick is getting into the comic publishing business. All right. Colin Kaepernick and Scholastic team up to release Dreamer, a new graphic novel memoir about professional hockey player and activist Akeem Ailu, published by Brandon Schwer, published 10 hours ago. Colin Kaepernick's publishing company, Kaepernick Publishing, and Scholastic are teaming up to publish Dreamer, a new graphic novel memoir by professional athlete and activist Akeem Ailu. Dreamer is co-written by Ailu and Greg Anderson Alice, with illustrations by Karen De La Vega. Publishing on February 7th, the graphic novel tells of Ailu's life when growing up in Ukraine and Canada, the systemic racism and hazing he faced throughout childhood, and when starting his hockey career, and how he then spoke out against the abuse. The synopsis reads, quote, Akeem Ailu, also known as quote unquote Dreamer, is a Ukrainian, Nigerian, Canadian professional hockey player whose career took him all around the world and who experienced systemic racism at every turn. So it's gonna be one of those stories. Well, at least Cameron's trying to do something productive, right? Starting his own you know production company, publishing company. Let's see. Dreamer tells Akeem's incredible story from being the only black child in his Ukrainian community to his family struggling to make ends meet while living in Toronto, to confronting the racist violence he often experienced both on and off the ice. This is so is he trying to say that Canadians are racist too? Is he? I thought it was only us big bad Americans who are the racists. Is he trying to say now Canadians are racist too? This is a gut-wrenching and riveting graphic novel memoir that reminds us to never stop dreaming and is sure to inspire young readers everywhere. It's kind of funny. The picture there of if that's supposed to be Akeem Ailu as a child, he actually kind of reminds me of maybe a slightly lighter toned, one of the lighter toned version of one of the characters from Boondocks. I don't know if you guys have ever seen the Boondocks animated comedy on Cartoon Network before, but the guy the picture right there kind of reminds me of a lighter, slightly lighter toned version of one of the Boondocks characters. He's black. Everyone is racist to him. Yeah, true, true. That does seem to be his attitude. Quote, I have lived all over the world and seen both the beauty and the ugly side of humankind, unquote, said Ailu. Quote, for the longest time I wondered, why me? Why does everything seem to be so much more difficult for me and than most other kids? Is it my skin color or because of where I come from? Today, I can say that I'm grateful to have gone through all those trials and tribulations so I can pass on these lessons and experiences and create a smoother path for the next dreamer. Unquote. Kaepernick founded Kaepernick Publishing in 2019. The company strives to elevate a new generation of writers full of diverse voices and viewpoints. Well, all the power to him. I hope for his sake he's successful. You hear a lot of these people come out and talk about how they want more diversity in comics, and at least Kaepernick, you can give the man some credit here and some respect here. The fact that he's actually going out and doing something about it, starting up his own publishing company. You know, give the man at least a certain amount of respect and credit for that. Um, Quote, with honesty and courage, Akim Alou's Dreamer will inspire readers of all ages to move confidently in the direction of their future. Unquote. Kaepernick said, quote, not only does Akim's story speak to the power of dreams, but his persistence in the face of adversity can inspire us to build a better world for the next generation. Kaepernick Publishing uh, Kaepernick Publishing and Scholastic recently teamed up to release I Color Myself Different, a New York Times best-selling picture book written by Kaepernick and illustrated by Eric Wilkerson earlier this year. Quote, we are honored to know Akeem and to publish his graphic memoir, Dreamer, unquote, said Scholastic Global Licensing Brands and Media VP and publisher Deborah Dorfman said of the new novel. He has endured so much in his life, even to this day, as his family and friends fight for their lives in Ukraine. Hakeem translates life lessons he has endured into something positive for all kids, resulting in a message of hope that is beautifully conveyed in the power of graphic novel. Dreamer is intended for readers ages 8 to 12. The graphic novel releases on February 7th, 2023. So there we go with that one. And as things are getting a little bit more dimmer in here, I'm going to step away from the computer once again so I can get some more light in here. I will be right back. Yeah, good luck, bro. Yeah. Yep. Anyways, I'm going to go off camera here for a moment. So I'll be right back. Alrighty then, we're back. We're going to make a book calling Ukraine Racist when their country is in a war and being claimed by Russia, elbow cup. Right. I think there are some bigger issues to address on. Yeah, but people like Kaepernick don't seem to know that though. People like Kaepernick are so self-absorbed that they really are clueless. It is absolutely clueless. Anyways, moving on to the next story here. Let's see, where are we at here? Hour 26. So we're already coming up on an hour and a half. So I kind of hurry along a little bit here. Spider Man's Green Goblin is the Predator's latest victim in Marvel variant. We read a little bit about this over yesterday as well. So Marvel's Green Goblin Norman Osborn is the Predator's latest victim in a variant cover created by Gabrielle Delato for Amazing Spider-Man #8. Article by Brandon Schwer, published 9 hours ago. Predator has claimed the Green Goblin as its latest victim in Gabrielle Delato's variant cover for Marvel's Amazing Spider-Man #8. Delato's Amazing Spider-Man #8 variant shows the Yachtja Hunter sitting atop a building while holding the Green Goblin's iconic mask, um, while the large full moon looms in the background. The variant is one in a series Marvel recently put out highlighting a new Predator run launching in July. Other variant covers show the alien hunter sparring with um, the X-Men, tackling the Avengers, brutally defeating the Hulk, and more. Predator #1, which comes from Brisson, um, Iron Fist, Ghost Rider, Walker, Doctor Strange, Doctor Afra, and cover artist Lenille Francis Yu will go on sale July 6th, based on the 1987 film of the same name, starring Arnold Schwarzenegger and directed by John McTiernan. The series doesn't appear to feature the Predator hunting down characters across the Marvel Universe. Rather, Predator follows a woman on a mission for revenge against one of the creatures. The synopsis for the first issue reads, quote, "The story kicks off when a young girl sees her family slaughtered by a predator. Years later, though her ship is barely holding together and food is running short, Theta won't stop stalking the spaceways until the Yatja monster who killed her family is dead, or she is." Wow. Quite a determined young lady, isn't she? Quote, "I've been obsessed with Predator since first seeing the film at the drive-in theater as a kid," unquote. Brisson previously said about working on Predator. Quote, "I can still remember sitting there in horrified fascination and then acting out a movie for my classmates following the week at school. I bought the VHS and wore the hell out of tape getting to," oh yeah, we read that line I think yesterday. "Getting to write characters launch Marvel is a dream come true. Um, when they offered me the gig, I already had a million ideas to film. I was double checking, making sure that Yeah, where we at? We're almost. Ah, helping me to gig. I already had a million ideas ready to go. Not only am I excited to write the Predator book, but I'm doubly excited to be working with Kev Walker on the series. Pages he's turned in so far are mind blowing. He's delivered awe inspiring alien planets, huge blood pumping action scenes, and devastatingly emotional beats all in the space of the first issue. I really think we're making something quite special here. Unquote. Marvel confirmed Green Goblin, Norman Osborn, will appear in Amazing Spider Man number 8 when Peter Parker receives a new suit and glider from Oscorp. The issue, which comes from writer Zeb Wells and artist John Romita Jr., goes on sale July 28th. There we go with that one. We do have one more article here before we head over to Critical Class. Disney is finally doing something with the Predator license. So I just lost interest in it. He's a big fan of Predator, but won't make the Predator a main character. All right, then. So moving on to this probably the last. Um, well, no, this will be the last article on CBR. We'll have one more article after this over on Critical Blast. 33. Exclusive: Thor and Hulk face off in the Marvel Universe's deadliest arena. Marvel Comics presents an exclusive preview of Hulk versus Thor: Banner of War Alpha number 1 by Donny Cates and Martin Cola. Article by Liam Nolan, published 9 hours ago. Marvel Comics provided CBR with an exclusive preview of Hulk vs. Thor: Banner of War Alpha number 1 by writer Donny Cates, artist Martin Colo, colorist Matt Wilson, and letterer DC's Joe Sabino. Um, the preview sees the two moving their battle to the deadliest arena in the universe, the Black Hand of God. Previous arc of Hulk, Smash or Not, Bruce Banner dividing himself into several parts to create Starship Hulk after seemingly murdering the patrons of a bar in El Paso. While the Avengers wanted to bring him to justice, Banner instead transported himself to an alternate universe, which he never became the Hulk, and that was governed by President Thaddeus Ross. After taking on some deadly foes, Hulk fled through the through a portal, only to find Mjolnir flying right at him. In the preview for Hulk versus Thor: Banner of War Alpha number 1, sets up a crossover in the solo book of the two characters. The titular two Avengers start by fighting in a world that aesthetically resembles that of the animated series Adventure Time. As their battle escalates, fifth teleports two of them to the Black Hand of God, an arena described as, quote, as a, quote, home to the greatest and most gruesome fighting tournament any universe has ever known, brackets, dot, dot, dot. It is known by all who quest across the stars as the most violent, vicious, and gore soaked corner of hell to ever exist in the multiverse, unquote. You can read CBR's exclusive preview of Hulk vs. Thor Banner of War Alpha number 1 below, alongside the solicitation information for the book. Hulk vs. Thor Banner of War Alpha number 1. Donny Cates writer, Martin Coccolo artist, cover by Gary Frank, variant cover by Martin Coccolo, variant cover by Ron Lim, Hulk Smash variant by Trevor Von Eden, Mjolnir Crush variant by Trevor Von Eden, variant cover by Ryan Stegman, Wraparound Connecting variant cover by Jeff Shaw. Hulk and Thor have both undergone massive changes recently, but one thing remains constant: their heated rivalry. When mysterious circumstances bring them into conflict once more, will the God of Thunder be able to triumph against Bruce Banner, who can now control his rage? Let's see. Celebrating the 60th anniversary of both characters, this epic 5-part crossover between the Thor and Hulk series starts here in this oversized Alpha issue, brought to you by creators Donny Cates and Mark Coccolo. The mysteries from both series will be revealed, as well as shocking consequences for the future of both characters. Continued in May's Thor number 25, Hulk 7, 40 pages, one shot, latest plus, 4.99. There's some images of it. Releasing May 11th, Hulk vs. Thor Banner of War Alpha number 1 features a main cover from Gary Frank and Brad Anderson. The title also features variant covers Colo and Wilson, Von Lim and Israel Silva, Jeff Shaw and Federico Blee, Ryan Stegman, J.P. Mayer, and Romulo Fajardo Jr., Trevor Von Eden, and Blee. The next installment in the Banner of War crossover will take place Thor number 25, which releases on May 18th. So there we go with that one. All right, so we're coming up on an hour 40 now. We got one more article to read through, and then which will be on Critical Blast. Then we will start get ready to wrap things up. Before I get started, I want to send a quick little message to somebody, get their attention. Hey, Rick. You know, hey, Rick. Welcome to the stream. Thank you for dropping in here. I'm gonna just do something real quick here. All right, then. So here we go. Again. All right. So here we go. The Lucent, a bright spot on the indie comic scene. Article by R.J. Carter, published yesterday. 6:50. I'm guessing that'd be 6:58 local time, and then like 4:58 my time. Let's see what RJ has to say about this one. The Lucent, written and drawn by Michael Bancroft, takes readers on a compelling journey, not just into the life of the main character, Ella Forsyth, but also the invisible world around her. It's our world, and yet it's occupied by the otherworldly. Um, when we first meet Ella, she's a mere 6 years old, a fearsome hunter, seemingly human, but perhaps much more. Pursues her, but settles for her father when the girl is mystically hidden. 14 years later, Ella is a young woman who has all but forgotten the events of that night. But she's starting to awaken to the fact that she has different realities open to her. Her dreams are vivid and lifelike, and in them she can do amazing things, defy gravity, leap tall buildings, etc. But in the waking world, her mundane existence is spent employed cataloging books in a small shop. But when a man who raised her gifts her with a ring, her dreams transport her into someone else's life in a distant past, and with that, the solid and ephemeral, uh, the solid and the ephemeral begin to have their first collision. Now, as I understand it, the word ephemeral simply means like kind of ghostly, like vague in presence, ghostly. Um, it's easy to see a Neil Gaiman influence in The Lucent. Beyond the superficial aspect of the book being driven by dreams, the coexisting worlds evokes memories of Neverwhere, while the tales of a stone man with chalk white skin and eyes of obsidian accurately describe Morpheus himself in Gaiman's graphic novel series Sandman. In fact, The Lucent is very much what The Matrix might have been had Gaiman realized it 20 years past instead of the Wachowskis. Bancroft's pacing is deliberate. His characterizations separate the um, separate and unique to each player. The readers are not spoon fed, not given any easy answers to explain the wild swings from one reality to another. Yet, despite this, it's very much evident um, that that there is a reason and rationale behind all of it. The reader acknowledges it intuitively rather than accept it on some blunt delivery. Not a story that grabs you by the throat, forces you along, but rather takes its time setting little hooks into you before you realize you're snared and must now follow the narrator to the end. Come along, little doggy. Come along, little doggy. Ah, as for the illustrations, Bancroft's pencils are nothing short of exquisite. In a day where it's almost too much to ask for a character to at least be recognizably the same from panel to panel, Bancroft's characters are unique and consistent throughout the story. The anatomy is on point, and the backgrounds are filled with details. There's a bit of an Easter egg hunt in the young protagonist's bedroom filled with British literature and pop culture items, along with, I'm going to assume, a full length looking glass that is surely a callback to Carol's Alice, as in Alice in Wonderland. The colors are bright without being garish, with a vivid palette used expertly so that the characters don't appear flat, as happens in so many independently produced comics. As a backup piece, Bancroft includes something I've often recommended as a writing exercise to others, but never seen done in comic book form. Rather than reproduce rough pencil scenes with text walls of character description, Bancroft fully illustrates interviews between himself and each character, giving 2 pages to each. It's a technique for writers to get to better know the characters and clip away at temp- at, at temporary writer's block. But Bancroft proves it's more and capable as a vehicle to take the readers inside the personality of the dramatis personae. Basically, the term dramatis personae is essentially just a fancy way of saying cast of characters. It's a Latin and very fancy way of saying cast of characters. All told, the Lucent, subtitled Waking Dream, is 80 pages of perfect bound, high quality comic book goodness that transcends the medium in much the way old school Vertigo books used to be lauded for. Initially offered through crowdfunding, copies of the book are available to the general public through some online outlets as well as eBay. Well, RJ ranked us a 5 out of 5. Alrighty then. So that's all the articles I have for you guys tonight. Anyways, I'm gonna step off cam before we close out. I'm gonna step off camera for a quick moment. Gotta take care of a couple things real quick here, and then I'll be right back. So hopefully, we're getting to the point where good stuff, Mike. Yeah, stick around. We got just a little. You got some wrestling news and some stuff to finish up with Chad. So we're not done yet. But I do have to just step off for a quick moment. I'll be right back. I'm back now. Anything new there? All right. So, with that being so, last piece of news to go talk about before we start really wrapping up and being the history segment here. We are coming up on 2 hours here. Just some AEW news. Last night, of course, was Dynamite. Main event saw saw the unification basically of the Ring of Honor Women's Championship as the reigning Ring of Honor Women's Champion, Diana Purrazzo, was going up against the interim Women's Champion, Mercedes Martinez. Mercedes Martinez defeated Purrazzo in the main event of the night to basically unify and become the undisputed Ring of Honor Women's Champion. Also, in I believe the last two qualifiers for the men's bracket of the Owen Hart um, Foundation tournament. That was to be that to start up this coming Wednesday, the 11th. Um, in the first match, you saw Jeff Hardy defeat Bobby Fish of Red Dragon. Jeff Hardy of the Hardy Boys defeat Bobby Fish of Red Dragon, and then you also saw Ray Phoenix defeat Dante Martin in what many people call a classic junior heavyweight battle. A lot of high flying, a lot of excitement in that match. Wardlow Wardlow fended off the latest hired gun of MJF, the debuting W Morrissey, Impact Wrestling's W Morrissey, who some of you might remember as Big Cass and from his time in the WWE a few years ago. He was teaming with Enzo Amore. So he made his AEW debut. My friend Johnny said AEW was worse than TNA wrestling when Cody Rhodes crawled back to the WWE. One of the founding members. I know there have been some. I mean, I've watched it. AEW is pretty good. I think it does. I think it does give the WWE some pause and some considerable competition there. I think one of the main criticisms, though, at times of the company is that some people say that AEW may be a little top heavy, which essentially what that essentially means is that they basically have too many big names taking up too many places on the card. They, now granted, lately it seems like they've been building up the mid card more, but I think one of the biggest criticisms for a while there was that they were too top heavy. They basically had too many main eventers and not enough main event spots to put them in. But of late, there's been a lot of talk about how they're building their women's division. They've got a lot of talent. They've got a good mix of veteran talent and young talent doing good work there. You watch AEW Dynamite on Wednesdays on TBS. You can watch AEW Rampage on TNT on Friday night, and then you can also come here to YouTube, and they've got AEW Dark and AEW Dark Elevated. Dark Elevated is on Mondays, and then Dark is on Tuesdays. I mean, you might want to check it. You might want to check out the stuff for yourself to determine if you believe your friend is true, or if maybe but yeah. So let's see. And let's see, any other thing? Let's see. There's also talk right now that they're pushing, possibly having, they're possibly going to make their current AEW heavyweight champion, Hangman Adam Page. They're possibly doing a heel turn as he's signed to face CM Punk at the end at this month's Double or Nothing pay-per-view, which comes up on Sunday, May 29th. There was a confrontation between AEW Women's Champion Thunder Rosa and Serena Deeb, who is, I think, now slated as the number one tender. And on this Friday's, I haven't watched wrestling since 2008. Yeah, up until I started watching it a little bit more again, because to add more to my coverage, Chad, I hadn't really watched a whole lot of it either. I still haven't really got back into watching WWE. I mean, I keep track of WWE through WrestleLania, which is kind of another channel here that does primarily AEW and WWE news, with some talk of like Impact and NWA. And then I've been watching more. I've been, of course, watching AEW. I've been watching NWA, like NWA Power and NWA USA, and then also some of the Impact stuff as well. So, yeah, and this Saturday, of course, is Impact's next pay-per-view, Under Siege. The main event for that night has already been signed, as I believe Josh Alexander, who recently won back the Impact World title from Moose, will be fending off the challenge of the Stone Pitbull Tomohiro Ishii. So, anyways, so that's let's see. Anything else from the yeah, that's pretty much a lot of the main news from AEW and from wrestling. So, anyways, guys, it's a good time to start wrapping things up a bit here, finishing things off. So, I think it's a good time to take a look back at this day in Nietzsche history. History! So, this, for Chad, I know you're kind of newer here. So, this is a segment where we go back and when we go back to times past, and we look at key points in Nietzsche history to when to when to when to when we take a look back to this day in Nietzsche. Have a good night. Okay. Anyways, so here we go. Today is Thursday, May the 5th, 2022. So let's take a look back at this day in Nietzsche history. Oh, wait, actually, no. Actually, that one's wrong. Sorry. Not yet. Not that one yet. All right. First off, we head back 80 years ago today to 1942. As on this date in 1942, the 20th issue of Exciting Comics from Standard went on sale on this date back 80 years ago. Of course, it sold for 10 cents and was 64 pages. On this day, back in introducing the Black Terror. On this date, back in 1942, 80 years ago today, the 20th issue of Exciting Comics went on sale from Standard. So there we go with that one. All right, moving on to the next piece of Nietzsche history. We head now to 1982. Cool. On this date in 1982, Kokusai Eiga-sha's Acro Bunch premiered on this date in 19 fully literally trying to Acro Bunch, the Legend of Demonlands. The anime Acro Bunch, produced by Kokusai Eiga-sha, premiered on this date back in 1982. It premiered on Nippon Television. So on this date back in 1982, Acro Bunch premiered in Japan. There we go with that one. Then moving on to the next piece of niche history here. Actually, we're going to move ahead to 1997. We're going to talk about two things that happened, of course. On this date in 1997, of course, the Monday Night Wars were happening, of course. So this was 25 years ago today. So from the Brown County Expo in Green Bay, Wisconsin, WWF at the time held its Monday Night Raw event. Main event seeing Steve Austin defeating the British Bulldog. You also saw Doug Furnas and Phil LaFon defeat the Legion of Doom. Let's see. You saw Ahmed Johnson win a gauntlet match. Also, Vader defeating Goldust, and the opening match of the night saw Rockabilly defeat Ahmed Johnson via DQ. Also on this date in 1997, just as we said, Monday Night Wars, just as WWF was holding its Monday Night Raw event, WCW was holding its Monday Nitro event. And on that night, Monday Nitro was, of course, taking place from Jenkins Arena in Lakeland, Florida. And that night saw, and supposedly the main event or the last match of the night, Glacier defeating Lismark Jr. Lord Steven Regal, who of course goes by the name William Regal now, who is of course right now the coach manager of the Blackpool Combat Club in AEW. He fought Meng to a no contest. Six, aka Sean Waltman, aka X-Pac, aka the 1-2-3 Kid, aka the Lightning Kid. He would retain the WCW World Cruiserweight Championship over Rey Mysterio Jr. So that was a lot of the highlights that happened on that date back in 19. So on this date, WWE and WWF, or WWF and WCW held their respective shows on this date back 25 years ago. And one last piece of niche history to touch upon, kind of more of a sad piece of news, as on this date 20 years ago today, on this date 20 years ago today, Academy Award-winning American film director and producer George Sidney would pass away at the age of 85 on date back in 2002, 20 years ago today. Spent a good part of his career working for MGM, Metro Goldwyn Mayer, which was known for, they were the ones who produced the Tom and Jerry cartoons. Also was one of the co-founding members of Hanna-Barbera. On this date, 20 years ago today, George Sidney would pass away at the age of 85. Co-founding member of Hanna-Barbera, an Academy Award-winning director and producer and all that. So with that, guys, I do thank you all for being here tonight. Before we head out, just a reminder, tomorrow night, of course, is our weekly look at historical comic retrospect. Batgoat, if you're still here, I'll send you the StreamYard link sometime in the morning to midday. Batgoat will be with me, of course, as my co-host. We'll be starting our coverage of 1939 looking at comics that went on sale in DC, reading out of Action Comics Volume 1, Number 9, and so we'll be reading the Superman Ted Thompson story. Maybe we'll do one or two other stories, time permitting. But anyways, guys, I thank everybody for being here. Thank everybody for being here. And I hope you guys enjoyed the content tonight. And until tomorrow, bye.